year it's been for George Clooney. Triple threat, actor, writer, director. He's dominating the newsstands, up for all kinds of awards. And this Sunday at the Golden Globes will be Clooney versus Clooney, his two most recent films, The Ides of March and The Descendants, head-to-head in 4 categories, including Best Picture. Great to have George Clooney here. So what'd you think? Morning show in your future?
Yeah, I really like the hours.
You just don't sleep. Go straight through.
Just go right through. I like
Absolutely.
it. Just drink your way through it.
Let's talk about The Descendants. It's such a powerful movie, and your character is in such an extreme situation. He's leading a pretty good life in Hawaii, but then in 24 hours finds out that his wife's been in an accident she's not going to recover from, and that she's been cheating on him.
Yeah, that's fun.
Well, you do get laughs out of it.
Well, at least I got to go to Hawaii to shoot it, so it wasn't so bad. Yeah, it's by a director named Alexander Payne, who's done 4 films up until then, and every one of them is really, really great. Sideways and About Schmidt and Election.
One of the best political movies ever made.
I really do love Election. And so this was an opportunity to work with him first and foremost, and then he handed me the screenplay, and I thought it was as good as anything I'd ever get a chance to work on.
And because there's so many different emotions in play, anger and grief and confusion, and it comes together. We want to show a scene. You've just found out, and you have to go, you're being confronted by your wife's father.
Oh.
She gave you everything, man. Good, happy home, 2 beautiful daughters.
What's your point, Scott?
She wanted her own boat. She should have had her own boat. Something she would have been familiar with.
She wasn't even driving. Her boat. Somebody else's boat. It wouldn't have mattered. You're not going to blame me for this.
Quibble about the details. She was a faithful, devoted wife. She deserved more.
You're right. She deserved more.
A lot going on there.
Yeah, it's Robert Forster. Good to see him. It's always good to see him.
He's so good, and you have such an amazing cast to deal with. Not only Robert Forster, we had Shailene Woodley.
Did you have her
here back in December? And it was so exciting. It's her first film, and she blew it away.
This is going to be. There's a funny thing. There's times when you work with someone, particularly in the beginning of their career, where you recognize that this is going to be actually a career, not just a job. And we'll literally be talking about her in 20 years.
What did you call her? A 50-year-old scientist in a 20-year-old's body?
Yeah, she's really, everything about, she's the adult on the set, she was the grown-up. You know, she'd come over and go, George, stop that, sit down. You know.
She actually said, though, and a lot of people we had questions coming on Twitter wanted to know about this, she said you were a very generous mentor. On this. Do you see that as part of your role now?
Yes, mentor, thanks.
That means old, right?
Yes, it does. Yeah, I know exactly.
I turned 52, right?
It's code. I know exactly what it is. Yeah, you know, look, I've had a very lucky and fun career over the years, and when you work with people who are young and love what they do and interested, it's fun because that's not as it's kind of rare actually that this girl isn't going to end up smoking crack somewhere. She's really going to have her act together, and that's what makes it fun to work with.
You were joking earlier about the laughs, but there actually are a lot of laughs in this movie, and I want to show if we can bring it up right now. You got to tell us about this run, the flip-flop run.
This hurts.
Well, let's see it, guys.
Well,
there we go.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. Channeling your inner nerd there.
I did a Q&A. And the first thing they asked me was, do you actually run like that? And I want to kill
That was
him.
real acting.
Yeah, exactly. I was really ticked off by that. No, I did that the first time I started running like that, and Alexander laughed, and I knew I was going to have to do it about 30 or 40 more times. That was a mistake.
Well, you were willing. You went out there on that, and he actually turned you down for Sideways, right?
Yeah, I haven't forgiven him for that, yeah. He didn't understand my charms at that point. I've since convinced him.
You convinced him, and you're probably going to get an Oscar for it. Now, let's talk a little bit about Ides of March, because we are on the first day of the New Hampshire primary here. What I loved about it is how you really captured that gritty, kind of grimy feel of those early primary states.
We used a lot of references, including the documentary about the
War Room.
The War Room, about your guys' involvement in the Clinton presidency, and it was fun to also because I'd done K Street for several months. Living actually on K Street. Newt Gingrich was in the building next to us.
That was that documentary you did for HBO.
Yeah, and it was funny
because
it was a TV series actually with James and Mary. But it was fun to be sort of backstage and see what it is that you were all doing at those periods of time. It's a very different look at how you elect officials as opposed to just who they are.
You seem pretty realistic about the process.
I liked it. It was fun. It was fun because it humanizes all of those issues that you know. There are. My father ran for Congress, you know, and there are gives and takes that
You had a pretty tough campaign.
Well, he ran as a Democrat in Kentucky.
Yeah, that'll do it.
That's good fun. There's nothing but fun.
You campaigned a fair amount for President Obama last time around.
Fundraise. I didn't do any campaigning because I'm a big believer. I really don't think it helps much to have well-known, famous people campaigning for you. I don't think that does you a lot of good. But you can do fundraisers.
Are you following it this time around?
Sure. Yeah. I'm a Democrat. I'm a believer in him. I feel like he's done. I think he's done a wonderful job, and I think he's having a very tough time in a very difficult environment. And so I root for him. I root for the President of the United States.
And before you go, we got a question on Facebook. Everybody wants to know about the dog, Einstein, your new dog. How's the new rescue puppy doing?
He's good. Well, you know, I've had him for a couple of years. I didn't know that he was such a chow hound when I got him. I got him out of a, you know, I saw him online. And the lady said,
there he is right there.
Yeah, there's Einstein. And I saw him online, and I said, you know, I like this dog. And she said, well, he has to like you because we're not just going to, you know, dump him on anybody's lap. And I said, okay. So as they brought him over to the house, I took meatballs and I rubbed them on my shoes. That's the truth. And this dog threw himself at my feet. And she's like, I've never seen him act like this. And I'm like, and the problem is now he still thinks I'm the guy with meatball feet. So he follows me around.
All of George Clooney's secrets this morning here on GMA. Thanks a lot for
Try that
coming
at home,
by.
kids.
Descendants is in theaters now.